Celtics fans are so annoying. I'm sure that I'll probably put up some comments or like the screenshots from the comments on the TikTok. Y'all talk so much shit for nothing. What is good, everybody? It's your boy Champagne Chico. You know, it feels good. It feels good. It feels good to be in the finals. It feels good to just push all the way through all the negativity and all the criticism from the press. Mike Greenberg thinking that he's a teller of the future. The whole ESPN roster just saying, yeah, if any team is going to do it, the Boston Celtics will come back from 3-0. Everybody wanted to doubt us, and here we are in the NBA Finals. We just wanted to toy with y'all for real. Because how do y'all go from these type of games right here, blowing us out, like, convincingly, wasn't even blowing us out, but it was, like, very, very rough games, to losing by almost 21 points if you guys didn't get a two-pointer at the end? That doesn't make much sense to me. It doesn't make much sense to me. But before we get into the video, if you enjoy the NBA content, if you enjoy the Miami Heat or Boston Celtics, even though I don't like y'all, go ahead and go down there and like and subscribe for me. Let me know you want to see on the channel. But we're just going to get straight into it. The statistics on this whole series was all over the place. I'll definitely say that because you had players that were showing up like Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, man. I loved him all season, but I did not expect him to be as pivotal as he was. Game 1, we absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. Jimmy Butler had 35, Bam had 20, Gabe Vincent had 15, Max had 15, Caleb had 15, Kyle Lowry had 15. Like, you had 4 players scoring 15 plus. Or no, 6 players scoring 15 plus. Absolutely insane game 1, and we still only won by maybe 7 there. So we weren't too confident to start off with. Then we go 2-0. And Jimmy scores 27, but Bam scores 22. And then you have Caleb Martin starting his tear on this series with 25. Caleb Martin, if we didn't have Caleb Martin, we would be out. It would be the same thing as last year. Probably would go to 7, and we would have been out. Then we take a 3-0 lead behind Gabe Vincent's 29-point game, where he just went off. 29 points, shot 11 for 14. Jimmy only had 16. Bam had 13. Max had 10. Caleb Martin had 18. Duncan Robinson had 22. And then you had Jason Tatum only scoring 14 and Jaylen Brown only scoring 12. Now, we'll get into what they scored in Game 7, but then they start the comeback. This is the game that I went to, personally. 3-1. And I really didn't think that I was going to go further than this, but 3-1, Jason Tatum goes off. Everybody else compliments it. Jaylen Brown was still struggling, 1 for 5 from 3. Wasn't that great. Grant Williams was knocking down his shots. I mean, it's just, it was a tough game to watch in terms of the fourth quarter. Jimmy scored 29, but most of that was in the fourth quarter when we needed him to show up, but it wasn't enough. Gabe Vincent had 17. Caleb had 16. I think this was the game that Gabe twisted his ankle, unless it was the 3-2 one, actually, I think was the one. Yeah, so he twisted his ankle in Game 4, then wasn't able to play in Game 5. Our team just couldn't make any shots. Haywood Highsmith was doing great, though. I'll get into what I think the rotation should be against the Denver Nuggets this next series, but Jason Tatum, like everybody was hitting on all cylinders for them, and it was scary. It was scary, I won't lie. I lost some confidence for a bit in the Heat, but Jason Tatum got 21. Derek White had 24. The real star of the Celtics this series, because he was the most consistent one, I would say, in terms of the Boston Celtics. We get into Game 6, though. The demoralizing game winner. Jason Tatum had 31. Marcus Smart had 21. Derek White only had 11, but he had the game winner at the end of the game, which I'm sure if you have been keeping up, well, I'm sure the Celtics fans that I love oh so very much, they were talking so much crap when I posted my reaction on TikTok. If you don't follow me on TikTok, The links are down below. Also Twitch, because I might be streaming on Twitch instead of YouTube when it comes to after all this and everything, just because I'm able to do more and watch more things, because YouTube was trying to strike me down this last live stream. But Jimmy Butler got 24, but a very inefficient 24, and I felt like that should have been the reason why we lost, and it was. But I really thought that we were about to win the game up until zero point 0.1 seconds left. It leaves Derek White's hand and goes in for the putback layup. Absolutely demoralizing. Absolutely demoralizing. Then we get to Game 7, and of course, the Boston Celtics, on the biggest lights, do not show up whatsoever. Caleb Martin got 26, shot incredibly. Jimmy Butler had 28. Bam Adebayo only had 12, but he had 10 rebounds and 7 assists, almost a triple-double. Max Strus could not shoot. Gabe Vincent, 10 points, 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Kyle Lowry had his moments. He shot 50% on both the three-point line and overall. Duncan Robinson had 10. He was talking his shit. Haywood Highsmith is a hell of a defender, and I liked him all season, and we really needed him to show up in this game, and he definitely did that. And then Jaylen Brown, 19 points on 1 for 9 from 3 and 8 for 23. Jason Tatum with 14, 5 for 13. Derek White was the only efficient one. Even then, he still only shot 2 for 9 from 3, but he was getting more free throws than their star players. I mean, Jason Tatum did twist his ankle at the beginning of the game, but that shouldn't mean much when you're the type of player that you are. You're comparing yourself to Kobe Bryant, and yet you can't fight through a sprained ankle. I fought through a sprained ankle playing basketball because, like, it's just, I don't know. It was a tough roll. I saw it. I could imagine that it maybe popped a little bit. But when you're on Game 7, biggest stage, you could go to the finals if you just push for one more game, and he just absolutely shit the bed with 14 points. It's disappointing. It's definitely disappointing. But now the Heat have to face the Denver Nuggets. And we'll stay on this screen for right now. The Denver Nuggets is going to be a very, very, very difficult matchup. I will keep my things kind of neutral in terms of my analysis and everything. I'm not really going to just say, oh, the Heat are going to win. The Heat are going to win. I'm going to have an even mind. I'm going to have a balanced mind, or a leveled mind. That's what I meant to say. But before I get into that, I despise Celtics fans. If you want to skip ahead 2 minutes and just get into Denver versus Miami matchups, I don't blame you. But Celtics fans are so annoying. I'm sure that I'll probably put up some comments or like the screenshots from the comments on the TikTok. Y'all talk so much shit for nothing. For absolutely nothing. I don't know if y'all get like turned on by it whenever you're just talking to someone that you don't even know. But like talking shit, like you got Twitter fingers. You got Twitter fingers. You're not saying anything. Everything you're saying was just making me laugh because all you did was get me more views on TikTok. That's all you did. And thank you. I appreciate that. Because then you guys caught a fucking L in Game 7 in your home. Y'all were dead silent in TD Garden. What happened? I thought y'all were bringing a ruckus. What happened? Oh, man. And when I went to the game, I absolutely, I could not stand the Celtics fans. They get so drunk for no reason, and then they talk so much shit. It's so ridiculous. But I'll get back into Denver versus Miami. I'll keep it PG-13 for right now. Denver versus Miami. After a very hard-fought series against the Celtics, we went up 3-0. We possibly could have done the same thing that the Nuggets did and get a lot of rest. But I'm actually kind of happy. And this might be a weird way of thinking about it, but I'm kind of happy that we didn't get as much rest as we probably would have. Because I feel like that would have hurt us more than benefit us. Because we're still, like, running. Like, our bodies are still running, or their bodies are still running to get into the next game. The Nuggets could be cold just because of the week break. I'm not saying they will be. I'm sure the Nuggets are going to do their thing, right? But June 1st, 2023, we are playing the first game of the series. We'll look at their past series against the Los Angeles Lakers that they beat them convincingly. Beat them very convincingly because, wow. 4-0. And it came down to the last possession. LeBron wanted to go to OT instead of take it for the win, which I don't blame him. You're thinking long term. You're thinking we got to go to OT. If I take a three, I break it. That's not going to help us as much. We could go to OT, push for another 6 minutes or however long the OT is, and possibly win and keep it pushing. Jamal Murray had a great defensive stop. Not very usual of him, if we're being quite honest. But we'll go to game one. Denver wins by 6. Jokic was going insane, but Anthony Davis dropped 40. LeBron dropped 26, and Austin Reeves had 23. Rui was great for the Lakers. Rui was fantastic for the Lakers. And I think they need to prioritize bringing back Rui and Austin Reeves before they try to get anybody like Kyrie or something. It just depends. But the Nuggets just loaded it up on them. Nikola Jokic, I think he started off the half with like some insane stat line that he almost already had a triple-double in like the first quarter or something like that. It was stupid. 34 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists. Jamal Murray had 31 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. So what I think about the Heat versus the Nuggets, they've had some good games during the season. I think if we go to it, I think we had maybe 2 games on the season against them. Yeah, so we faced them in December. They beat us by 5. I don't know if we faced them again after that necessarily. We did, and they beat us again. So, we don't really have any space to really talk much. I mean, we lost by 4 or 5 in both games. We'll look at this one. I think this one Jimmy was actually playing. But you're talking about a team that isn't really the same. You know, Jimmy did play. He played well, played decent. This also isn't the same roster as the regular season, though. It's not, and you don't have the same players going off. The issue whenever we faced the Nuggets was that Tyler Hero was really doing a lot, and doing a lot in terms of shooting the ball. Now, when we faced them, Tyler Hero the first time got 26, was 9 for 18, and 4 for 9 from 3, but -6 plus or minus. The thing about that is because his defense is horrible against anybody, which I hope he comes back. I hope he does, but I'm not counting on him to be a defensive player. Our starting lineup right now is defensive heavy, but can also score. I want Tyler Hero coming off the bench. I want him coming off the bench for right now. See if he comes back shooting well. If he doesn't, put his ass back on the bench. I just can't get him back in the starting lineup already with the starting lineup being as good as it is right now. Haywood Highsmith actually started this game. It must have been... Did he start over Caleb Martin? Caleb Martin was injured. Caleb Martin was injured this game. And Max Strus was on the bench. Very interesting. Oh, we still had Kyle Lowry starting. So it just wasn't... It wasn't a great game for us. Contavious Caldwell-Pope shot tremendously. He shot 100% from 3. 19 points for Jokic, a triple-double. I mean, you're going to expect that from Jokic. I mean, the next game later on in the season was a bit more of a preview. I wouldn't say too much, though. Nikola Jokic almost got a triple-double in this one, 27 points. Shot 12 for 14 from the field. Didn't shoot any threes. Michael Porter, 17 points. Bruce Brown, 16. Jamal Murray, I think, was still injured at this point. So they didn't even have Jamal Murray. But now that Jamal Murray is there, it's almost like a Tyler Hero for them. I'm not saying Jamal Murray is all the way down at the level that Tyler Hero is at. But Jamal Murray is an incredible player that can complement Nikola Jokic. But the thing is they were talking about it in the post game, or Bam was talking about it. We have to stop the passing lanes for Nikola Jokic because that's the biggest thing for him. If he is backing down into the post, and if you watch these games, the Nuggets versus the Heat, we were able to do that in some capacity. Now, of course, oh look, they actually started the same starting lineup that we have right now in this game. And Jimmy Butler did well. But Caleb Martin wasn't the same player as he is now. Caleb Martin is doing insanely good now. So, what was I saying? Oh, so Jamal Murray, why I compare him to Tyler Hero in terms of his effect on the Nuggets is that if he has an insane game, he has an insane game, and he can really help you out. But on the defensive side, he's not going to be stopping much people, especially on the Heat. I don't think he's stopping Gabe Vincent in terms of Gabe Vincent making the contested shots, because he just takes contested shots sometimes and makes them. He's definitely not stopping Max Strus or Caleb Martin either. And we're not even going to get into Jimmy Butler because we know that that's not going to be stopped. So if we look at their starting lineup right now in the playoffs, if we go to the Lakers series that they had, their starting lineup right now is Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So, and they rotate with 7 players. So it's only Bruce Brown and Jeff Green that come off the bench. So the starters play a lot of minutes. I mean, they had to in this one because they really wanted to close it out. I think the past game they didn't play as many minutes, though, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they played 3. They played 8, but it wasn't an insane rotation in terms of the 8. So I'll still say they rotated 7. Jamal Murray just was going insane in this series, but you could see in game 4 that he kind of cooled off a little bit. He wasn't scoring as much. He had 25. He went 0 for 4 from 3. Michael Porter Jr. went 3 for 10. What we have to do in terms of the defensive adjustments for the Nuggets is almost the same, but not really, because we're more focused on the center. So that means Bam has to be confident this entire series on the defensive side. And even if he gets unconfident at some point, he just has to come back and have that same tenacity against Nikola Jokic. He's going to drop a triple-double probably almost every game. But it's how many points he gets and how many assists he gets that we need to limit. Because the passing lanes, the Lakers are not a defensive team. The Nuggets look very dominant right now because they just faced the Lakers. They are not a defensive team. LeBron isn't the defensive player that he was on the Heat when he was on the Heat before. LeBron dropped 40 in this game and got absolutely no help by anybody else on the team. D'Angelo Russell was dog shit throughout this whole series. Rui Hachimura went 0 for 3 for the first time in this series and only scored 10 points. Austin Reeves, 17 points. Anthony Davis, 6 for 15 on 21 points. Dennis Schroeder, 13 points with a 5 for 13 field goal. So it's just like I said, the passing lanes are the main priority and perimeter defense. And I think we have one of the best perimeter defenses in the world or in the NBA. We just have to keep it consistent. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is most likely going to be at the three-point line. As you can see, 7 of his 10 shots were threes. He's going to be at the three-point line. So what you can do with him is that you put Max on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Jamal Murray, I would say personally, Gabe Vincent. I know that Gabe Vincent can be iffy on the defensive side at points, but I trust him to guard Jamal Murray. Now, of course, the switch would be Jimmy, but Aaron Gordon would be guarded by Caleb Martin, and Michael Porter Jr. would be guarded by Jimmy. And, of course, Nikola Jokic, Bam Adebayo. But we don't run man-to-man. But that is what the ideal situation is. We run a 3-2. It's like a hybrid. It's a 3-2 hybrid because they're able to switch and they're able to pick up and still be in zone. It's so weird, but it's very efficient. It's a very efficient scheme by Eric Spoelstra, and I completely respect it. But the rotation. The rotation for the Heat has to be what it was this past game. And what it was this past game was, if I can get to it, the rotation that we had for the majority of the game was an 8-man rotation, which is what we usually run. But Cody Zeller cannot be in. Cody Zeller cannot be in the game. He cannot. Haywood Highsmith is a great defensive player. Now, Cody Zeller has his moments, but it's too wishy-washy for the playoffs right now. We're in the finals. You give a chance to someone like Haywood Highsmith on one of the biggest stages, he's going to show up. And he did in Game 7. He had a great steal. He had one steal, but that steal was very good because he made Jason Tatum basically lose all his confidence on that steal alone. Now, Duncan Robinson, I'm sure he's going to keep up what he's doing. And Kyle Lowry, I'm still not convinced on. I'm still not convinced on Kyle Lowry, but I hope this is the start of him being good off the bench. Now, Tyler Hero's supposed to be coming back in Game 3 possibly. Do you run a 9-man rotation at that point? I would say yes, because you can't take out any of the guys from the 8-man. But you got to be efficient with it. And if anybody's going to do that efficiently, it's Erik Spoelstra. This coaching battle is going to be insane because Mike Malone is a great coach, and so is Erik Spoelstra. Now we finally have a coaching battle that actually levels out, but we also have the teams that want it enough that levels out the competition too. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Caleb Martin, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent is going to be the starting lineup for me. I can't imagine anything else unless we really do need to switch it up and switch more of a bigger power forward in terms of Kevin Love. Like I'm saying, like big, like weight-wise and stability-wise. And he can also pass the ball down very, very efficiently. But that's only in a dire scenario, or if after Game 1 and we have this starting lineup and he just doesn't, if this lineup just doesn't do it for us, then we bring in a too big rotation and have Kevin Love next to Bam Adebayo. But Kevin Love can hold his own, but I think that Nikola Jokic is going to take advantage of Kevin Love if he's in the game. I think with this starting lineup right here, it's very hard to get fouls against them because they're always keeping their hands up, and it's just very, very solid on the defensive side. One of the last points that I have right now, the betting odds. The betting odds on the Heat winning right now. They continue to give us this 8.5 point underdog to us. And I understand why. I just don't get it. I don't get how we come so far in the playoffs and they still see us getting blown out. I understand betting odds are based off statistics on the regular season because Las Vegas does not actually watch sports, but 8.5 point underdogs is kind of disrespectful. But we started off the playoffs 150 to 1 to win the championship, or even make it to the finals at that. We were one of the lowest teams in terms of betting favorites and going to the finals or even making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They had us losing to the Knicks convincingly in round 2 for some reason. I thought we had a more tough series against the Bucks than we did the Knicks, because the Knicks are just not as consistent as the Bucks usually are. I think the most consistent team that we faced was the Bucks, and the Celtics, as consistent as they were in the 3 games that they won, it just wasn't enough. They scored only 84 points in Game 7. Like, even I'm disappointed as a Heat fan for y'all. I'm disappointed that they just didn't show up. They didn't even try to push. They just were there. They were just waiting for the game to end. By the point that it was the third quarter, they were already done. Halfway through the third quarter. And that TD Garden was so dead quiet, at all jokes aside from the middle of the video. But, man, I've never heard an arena so quiet since the bubble, because they were not saying anything in that arena. And then Duncan Robinson hit the I can't hear you. Wild. Absolutely wild. But I think, of course, I'm going to believe that the Heat have a chance, but also the Nuggets are a very, 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 very formidable opponent. They're very competent. They're a very competitive team, and they've also been disrespected throughout. And now, since they've gotten all the respect that people are saying that we're going to get swept by them, I don't know. Our defense, I have confidence in our defense, but we're really going to have to see how this series levels out. I won't be able to stream those games until I get back, and that's going to be right before Game 5. So hopefully if there is a Game 5, I will be streaming it. I'll let y'all know on here. and then I will go on Twitch because Twitch is just easier. It's just way easier to stream on because then in the commercial breaks we can watch whatever, we can talk whatever, and like listen to regular music instead of just some copyright crap. So yeah, this journey has been very surreal. Very surreal. The amount of anxiety and depression that I've had throughout this whole playoffs is insane. I wouldn't say like legit depression. I'm not joking about depression at all. But like I was very upset after the game winner. Like I was demoralized. So I was surprised that they came out with the way that they came out in this last game in game 7. But Caleb Martin, man. Caleb Martin, dude. An elite third option right now. And the crazy thing is, Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are still there, and they can have insane games with Jimmy and Caleb doing their thing too. I'm excited to see how this series goes. I'm just happy that we're there. I'm just happy that we're in the finals, and we're showing that we're not just a bubble team. We're not just a bubble finals team, and we're here to play. And Jimmy is one of the greatest NBA playoff performers of all time. But if you did enjoy that, if you enjoyed my analysis and me talking about the Heat versus Celtics and Heat versus Nuggets, please go down there and like and subscribe for me. Check out the links in my bio. I've never said that, so that's why I just fumbled my words. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch most likely whenever I do stream. And TikTok. I post a bunch of crap on TikTok. I'll probably be showing the comments from those videos later on or during the video when I'm talking about the Celtics fans. But yeah. Again, if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Let's go Heat. Look, let's go Heat. Let's go Heat. Let's go Heat.